welcome into the New Mexico edition of Two Bald Guys on the Right. Boy, we got a lot of things to talk about. Before we talk about New Mexico, let's talk about Joe Biden. Today he had his first press conference, and needless to say, it was quite interesting. Did you catch any of that, Will?
Yeah, unfortunately, I was able to catch bits and pieces of it, and I've heard a couple of things. I actually watched Steven Crowder do a live, basically fact check of it.
Yeah, I actually posted a couple videos on Two Bald Guys on the Right of some of the things that Joe Biden said. And look, he had a couple Joe Biden moments. And I really, really feel bad that they put him in this situation.
Yeah.
Because his mental faculties are not all there. I don't see how his family could allow this. I would never let somebody that in my family that I know that mentally they're not, they're not prepared.
No.
And he actually, but one thing that he did say was send the kids back. He was talking about that young boy that made the 1,000-mile trek, and he said, his mom and dad are back
waiting
wherever
for
he
him.
was. Yeah,
Send him back.
Send him back home. Put him on a plane and send him home. I think that's I think it's the most humane thing that we can do.
I think it was the only thing I agreed with him in pretty much his whole speech.
Yeah. But let me say, the moment he said it, yeah, the progressive liberals are going,
oh,
don't
say that. Oh yeah, they weren't happy.
Like
they weren't happy he just said that.
Yeah, but you know what? We're spending millions of dollars a day. One child, $25,000 is the cost to house them. And we're going to talk about, are they coming to New Mexico? We're going to get into that coming up at the show. Please subscribe to the channel. Can you subscribe? Tell your friends about Two Bald Guys on the Right. We would really encourage you to please subscribe. If you could subscribe, look, we need to get it over 1,000 to get monetized. We'd encourage you to subscribe and also hit the ding, 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 ding notification to get, every time we come on the air, you'll be notified. So please tell your friends to get subscribed. Look, a lot of people are watching the videos. That's great. That's great. But the only way to make any headway and get any traction with YouTube and particularly is that you have to have over 1,000 subscribers and so many watch hours. So please subscribe to the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. I've been saying it. I've been yelling it from the tallest building. The Republicans need to get their stuff together and get a couple candidates ready to rock and roll for governor. It's a pivotal time in New Mexico to maybe change the course of time. 60-plus years we've been under Democratic rule. Now, I know we had Susana Martinez for 8 years, and I think that's the type of candidate that we need. We need more of a moderate. Look, I'm a conservative. I'm a staunch conservative on most things, but to get elected in New Mexico, you really got to be more of the moderate.
We got to have somebody who can actually make it past the gauntlet that is the Democrat, fortress of northern New Mexico.
Yeah, and so there's one guy from Sandoval County. His name is J.C. Block, and he has thrown his hat in the ring. And we had the pleasure to talk to him. He's a veteran, 21 years, served as a officer, and actually had the nuclear codes at a couple facilities and was able to retire and then become a commissioner in Sandoval County. He had some good things to say. And before we get to Jay, let's talk about the governor. So the weed bill did not pass. And me personally, I think there's bigger things for the Republicans to worry about than marijuana. That's just me. I've done my own. Look, I know the talking points. I've done my personal homework on Colorado because I hear about, crime rate went up. This and that. Okay. Driving while intoxicated, pretty much the same. Crime rate, pretty much the same. I haven't looked at the numbers, I'll be honest, in about 6 months. But when I did investigate about 6 months, probably closer to 9 months, the numbers, they didn't have a spike. And me personally, and I think a lot of people believe this, that Republicans have more important things to worry about than marijuana. The difference between marijuana and alcohol is?
alcohol is more dangerous, in my opinion.
Yes. But Will, the kids are going to get it. The kids are going to get their hands
Kids
on
already
it.
got
Look,
it. It's in all the New Mexico high schools. I hate to tell you this. I've got 2 teenagers, and it's all around them. They're
I'm
tempted with it
60.
all the time.
I'm 62 years old, and guess what? When I was in high school, it was in our high school too. And I went to a private Catholic school. Yeah, it was
There's
in
a
our
reason
schools
we
too.
had the stoners and the jocks. They weren't called stoners because they just smoked cigarettes. I'm sorry.
Well,
I hate to tell you that.
we kind of mixed, the jocks and stoner. It was kind of a mix. Sometimes on
I'm
the
not
weekend,
saying the jocks didn't get. I'm not saying the jocks didn't get stoned or drunk. They did.
I'm just saying on the weekend sometimes I'm 62 years old, so let's go back all this time. Have we stopped one person from smoking marijuana? No. No, we haven't. Hey, and the whole idea that it makes you lazy and stupid. I consider myself a hardworking person, and I take medical marijuana, and I've even heard some Republicans tell me, well, it's different. No, it is not. It's the same damn thing. THC is THC. We always want to talk about the science. This is the science. THC is THC.
If someone's going to go and have enough alcohol to get drunk in the evening, or they're going to have enough pot not to just get a high, but to get wasted in the evening, chances are they're going to do that all the time. And there's more than just that. There's going to be a problem. But when you compare the two, someone who's completely drunk or completely high, I'll take the high person every day.
I come to work the next morning without any residual effects to marijuana.
And I don't do it either. Just FYI.
And then I hear people saying, well, they'll be doing it on the job. Are they drinking on the job now? I just believe that Republicans have more important things to worry about. But on the governor's side of this, the governor, you lost. It didn't pass. You brought it up. What is this, the third year? It didn't pass. Second year? It didn't
Temper
pass.
tantrum incoming. Oh, I can feel it. It's coming.
If it didn't pass, it didn't pass. So now we're going to call a special session. What is it, next Tuesday, next Wednesday? And it's going to cost us a boatload of money. And most of those people, the other thing is, the people that are at home because they're scared to go to the roundhouse and still collecting their per diem, give the damn money up. You didn't go. It's supposed to pay your expenses while there. Yeah, you didn't go. So what expenses do you have? But it's still going to cost the state a lot of money. But the governor, on a Zoom meeting, somehow this leaked out, and she said, we're going to win because we're Democrats. Here's the governor, what she had to say.
We're going to have a special session in a week or so, and we're going to get cannabis because I am not going to wait another year. We're going to win it, and it's going to have the social justice aspects that we know have to be in a package. All right? So we are going to keep doing the right work because we're Democrats. And you know what? We don't take no very well. I don't do very well with no. We have a lot to accomplish. We're doing it already. I'm so grateful to you and this opportunity.
To me, it's staged outrage. We're going to do it. I mean, come on. Is that the most passionate you can get about something? The other thing, what are the social justice that she talks about being part of the bill? Because we just passed the social justice bill. Is everything about social justice now?
Look, I don't pretend to understand what goes on in the mind of a Democrat. I'm never going to try. So, I mean, not to the extent that stuff's going on. I do try to put myself in their shoes occasionally, and then I immediately jump out because it's damn scary.
Well, and, from a revenue standpoint, will it generate revenue? Yes, it will. Will it generate enough revenue to pay for the oil and gas, replace the oil and gas industry that you're decimating?
Not even close.
It won't. Not even close. I mean, one is $100 million for recreational marijuana tax on and $2 billion. So it's like
a fraction. It's a fraction.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's like replacing pennies, placing dollars with pennies, or vice versa. So it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. But the governor is going to have a tantrum, and what happens if it doesn't pass again? Does she call another special session until she actually gets it done? I understand.
And waste more money?
She's been twisting the arms of these Democrats. Because we got to remember, a lot of people say, well, why aren't the Republicans doing anything? They just don't have the numbers. 64% of the House and 64% of the Senate belongs to the Democrats. They have defeated us. Elections have consequences. How many times do we have to say this? So here's the guy that could be the next governor. Very important thing, about J.C. Block is that he's really not part of the Republican, good old boy plan. And will that hurt him? It might, but he talks very frankly about the governor. He talks about why is he going to run? And, after the last couple years, he's sat back and watched, and he's seeing what's going on with New Mexico, and that's why he wants to run. So J.C. Block could be your next governor.
It's actually real easy. If you look at the state in just the dire straits that the state is in with this tyrannical lockdown for the governor, we have lost well over 2,000 businesses, and about 87,000 people are out of work because of her. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the other causes related to the rise in suicide, substance abuse, mental health issues, this governor has not sacrificed at all. She has partied like a rock star with $30,000 of our money buying groceries and some very expensive beef at $200 a pound and alcohol. And she's also given her staff raises, her cabinet secretaries raises.
So the bigger question is, what is his message? What exactly is J.C. Block's message? By the way, I think it's a very cool name. J.C. Block. I mean, you put the C in there, and it gives it a whole new meaning. J. Block, J.C. Block. I'm just saying it. It gives it a whole. It actually sounds pretty cool. But here is his message on why, what he stands for.
Well, we're not going to play identity politics. We're just going to speak the truth. And the truth is that people come back. They want government out of every damn aspect of their lives and out of their businesses. And I think that's going to be a message that will resonate. This governor, she's not up for re-election. She's up for auction. She doesn't care about New Mexico. She just cares about her getting ahead. Prime example, in 2020, when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were bashing the oil and gas industry, she was silent. And the reason she was silent was she was betting on a cabinet position.
So he goes on to say more about MLG.
And then in day one of the Biden presidency, when he signed that executive order attacking oil and gas, she said, "Oh, I'm shocked. I can't believe he did that." Mm-hmm. Well, yes, you knew he was going to do that, Governor, and you're a liar. You just kept quiet because you wanted to jump off the sinking ship that you caused here in New Mexico so you could go to D.C. So she's just part of the swamp.
She is part of the swamp, no doubt about that. And I think it hurt her feelings when she did not get the cabinet position with the Biden administration. I think it really hurt her feelings. These Democrats are really kind of trying to take over everything. It's not good enough that they own every seat in New Mexico with the exception of Congressional District 2. So it's not good enough that, the Republicans own that one seat. They're going to reverse course with redistricting. And, Brian Ingoff is a progressive liberal, and it's not good enough that they hold pretty much every seat. Recently, Brian Ingoff slammed the idea of establishing an independent commission to draw the legislative districts to redistrict everything. By the way, he was on a Zoom meeting with a group called Retake Our Democracy, and he went on to say that I think that it puts us an unaccepted peril a woman right to choose environmental protection, fairness, taxation, and blah, 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 and said that redistricting will not be put in the hands of an independent. It will be put in the hands. And he said, absolutely, we will be fair in producing,
whatever.
Redistrict. I'm going, oh, really?
Like the Democrats have been fair about any damn thing. I'm sorry. You don't represent us. That's why we put Republicans up there. You cannot just draw the lines the way you want. So you add some more Democrat territory into the Republican territory and expect that you can make it the way you want.
So we know Congressional District 2, if I am not mistaken, is the largest geographical area out of all districts in the United States. For some reason, that sticks in the mind, and even when Steve Pierce back in the day held that position, he had said that. It is the largest geographical district in America. So what they want to do is include a little bit more of Albuquerque to even the playing field for the Democrats. And it's already a huge district. So why are you going to mess around with it? And I don't trust you to be fair. I really don't. I think an independent, maybe without stacking the deck, I think that would be pretty awesome, but I don't see it happening. I'm not a big-time drinker, and, well, you're not a big-time drinker, so this probably will not affect us. But will it actually help? I don't believe it will. I don't believe it will when I'm talking about the mini bottles. The mini bottles are going away in New Mexico. Yeah, a lot of people call those the airline bottles, mini bottles, whatever. But the sale of miniature bottles will be going away, and this is part of the sweeping liquor reform brought through by Michelle Lujan Gresham. She signed that last week. But July 1st, they are going to prohibit the mini bottles being sold. And the cause of this, they're referring to these mini bottles, and they think that this perpetrates more people drinking more liquor. But to me, if you make somebody buy a bigger bottle, wouldn't that mean they're consuming more alcohol?
They're going to drink more? Yeah, let's see if I'm going to buy a little bit because I only plan on drinking a little bit, or I'm going to buy a bunch and I'm going to overdrink. That doesn't make any damn sense. It's typical liberal logic, though.
So it prohibited applies to the bottles containing 3 ounces or less, the small bottles of booze, commonly referred to as the minis. Mo Mestis, Representative Mo Mestis, a Democrat from Albuquerque, said they're convenient, and if you want to take a mini to a movie theater, you can. Oh, but you can't take a small bottle and pour a.
I can pour. I can pour whatever I want into a small little bottle and take it into a movie theater. That's what I really want to do. I used to go to concerts. We're in radio, so I would go to concerts, and I had women who devised a way to put alcohol in their bra. No, I don't mean like stuff it in their bra. I mean they had bras that had straws in them, so they could actually drink out of this. The alcohol the bra would be full of alcohol, like liquid, and they would drink out of it.
Yeah, back in the day when I would go to my LSU Tigers football games, man, I'm telling you, I could fit like 8 beers in my boot. And seriously, I'm not a liquor drinker, but I do partake in beer. And I could probably bring at least a 6-pack, 3 in each boot. Guaranteed. Now that's not a problem because college football is allowing you to buy beer. And but these minis were outlawed in Santa Fe. They proposed that ban, and they said that, the minis are not good for the community. Let me tell you another thing that's not good for the community, and especially in Albuquerque, murders. Those aren't good for the community. Yeah, car thieves are not good for the community, and all the car thefts are not good for the community. People shooting up in your bathrooms, the homeless problems, the people shooting up on the sidewalks, and so on.
I got news for the Democrats. I got news for the Democrats. There's one big thing that they're all for that I think is very against the community. That's the higher taxes that they're going to be putting in place.
Oh, yeah. Boy, they, They do a lot of taxes that people don't see as taxes because they don't see it. So like a gas tax, when you go to the pump and fill up, well, you're going to pay what you're going to pay. People don't feel it as much, and stuff like that are when they have to increase the price of your tags, your license, and that type of stuff. A lot of people don't call those a tax, but they actually kind of are a tax. It's a way for them to stick it to the citizens and have more money. Recently, like yesterday, they started sending out money, $600 checks to low-income people that were affected by the pandemic. And
now, make the distinction, though, Kevin. Low-income minorities.
Oh, I'm sorry. But here's the deal. The $600 that went to a lot of welfare recipients, and a lot of those people don't work anyway. So how were they affected by the pandemic in any way? I mean, yeah, maybe they could have got the coronavirus, but I'm talking about, were they laid off? Did they have a reduction of hours and so on and so forth?
No, because they were already on welfare. They already had government assistance.
Yeah. We had the pleasure of speaking to Candy Ezzell, and Candy, of course, is out of Roswell, and she said that she had began hearing rumors that there were some of these immigrant camps that were coming. I also heard that they were coming to Lee County, but as she tells the story, it turns out to be that even the state hadn't heard about it. I'll say this much: in Pecos, Texas, nearby, state didn't hear about that either. But all of a sudden, we're putting these immigrant kids in these facilities that were once man camps in the oil field. And it's costing us a boatload of money. And so here's what Candy had to say about the rumors that these camps are going to be coming to New Mexico.
Sheriff's Department knew nothing about it. I then called the New Mexico State Police Office here in Roswell, questioned them about it. They knew nothing about it. They started sending people out to check to see if anything was taking place. Because I kept stirring that pot, I had Wynn Brannon, who is the State Emergency Operations Center director, call me. And he said, they are absolutely false rumors.
Okay. So for now, there are false rumors, but that has been the MO of the federal government, even as far back as Obama, when they flooded Flexi and Artesia, which is a federal training academy for Border Patrol and ICE and other entities. But and those guys, we built housing, we built soccer fields, and you couldn't find a PlayStation or Xbox anywhere in southeast New Mexico.
No, because they were all there for the kids.
Yeah, when we bring these folks in. And, churches gathered and said, we'll give, used clothes. They didn't want used clothes. Your taxpayers are going to pay, your tax dollars are going to pay for new clothes.
Turn their nose up at it.
Yeah. So we'll see what's going to happen. Candy goes on to say that she's very concerned about folks coming over here and not being tested for the coronavirus and so on and so forth.
My concern here is, have we had a so-called worldwide pandemic? Yes, we have. Are these people vaccinated? Are they going to be quarantined in there? The news report I heard on television this morning, and I think one of them is housing young teenage boys.
Yes, right.
And out of all the young men that are being housed there, I think there were 17 of them that did test positive for COVID. Wait just a minute. Are we going to just let them be?
And she goes on to say, who's paying for all this? Well, Candy, I can tell you who's paying for it. The people that pay taxes. People that pay taxes are actually paying for this. And I'll take that a step further, and it kind of hits me a little personal, because in 15 days, my wife comes back from the Philippines, and she has to be tested to re-enter the country. But now we're letting droves of people, caravans of people into the country without being tested. And Joe Biden is now trying to blame Donald Trump for the border security issues. Oh, wait a second, buddy. And you know what? There are actually people that are stupid enough, and yes, I did say stupid, to buy into that.
Well,
They're stupid
they
enough.
still deny that the cages started under Obama, which, he tries to say that he inherited this problem from Trump. No, the only reason you have this problem is because immediately you got into office, you undid what Trump did. You
Yep.
said that you would give amnesty to all these people, and guess what? The caravan started saying, "We're on our way. Let's go."
By the way, they announced this week that they would kind of reverse course. They said they're coming up with a plan that people will stay in their country to apply or go to Mexico and stay in Mexico. By the way, the president of Mexico, President Lopez, has said that he blames Biden for this, for encouraging people to come across. Now,
They're going to
Biden
stay in their home countries.
Yeah,
Let's see. That sounds awfully familiar. Like maybe the 45th president might have said something like that and had that policy in place.
Well, I think that was Trump that said that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I
wow.
think you're right.
Oh, man, didn't you reverse course on this thing? It's crazy. It surprises me, but doesn't surprise me that the state of New Mexico is so stupid that they cannot embrace oil and gas. Instead, they want to demonize oil and gas. So just today, the New Mexico oil and gas regulators have adopted new rules that will limit venting and flaring in the oil field as a way of reducing methane emissions. The Oil Conservation Commission took a final vote today following a 2-year process that involved testimony from environmental advocates and technical experts in the oil and gas industry. The first phase of implementation will include data collection and reporting of the natural gas losses at every stage of the process. The rules are one part of a two-pronged approach to the states addressing climate change, and still pending are the rules that will target oil and gas equipment that emits organic compounds. And so, look, instead of embracing oil and gas bad, green energy good. But there's a huge difference between oil and gas and green energy, and I'll do it again. Oil and gas is here. Green energy is basically makes up 2% of the budget. Oil and gas
green
makes
energy,
up 43%.
green energy can only ever produce a certain amount. It'll never get to the level. I don't care. It's a pipe dream because they talk about wanting to be carbon free by 2025 or 2035. I'm sorry, but you cannot sustain what we currently have with green energy. You can't. Period. You're going to have to invent something else, and until you do, this is all a moot point.
This is all we got. And you remember the freeze that we had last month? Well, I hate to tell you, if it wouldn't be for that coal plant up there in Grants, we would have froze too. And guess what? They're trying to shut that down.
Well, if we keep going in the direction we're going to end up in the same boat as Texas, and we're going to have our power grid affected the same way Texas was because it's too dependent on this green energy that is not sustainable, that you cannot actually, especially in harsh weather conditions.
And I was disappointed that last year, several Republicans, I think it was 7, voted for the Green New Deal that we're talking about, that we're going to move over to eliminate emissions by 2050 or 2035. And there were 7 Republicans that voted for that. And several of those Republicans are actually, one of them covers Eddy County, which is the heart of the oil field, along with Lee County. And one of them was from Chaves County. And I'm just kind of like, what are you guys thinking? What the heck's up with that?
We need to ask them. We need to get them and ask them about those.
Looks like 16 New Mexico health centers are going to receive about $70 million in American Rescue Plan funding. And so of the 16 communities, I looked at this, Will, and it's hard to see that, but not one of them from southeast New Mexico. Not one single hospital from southeast New Mexico.
Well, of course
Surprised?
not.
Surprised?
No, not at all. Because Santa Fe and Albuquerque only care about Santa Fe and Albuquerque.
Well, and I think the closest one was in Curry County, if I'm not mistaken.
Hallelujah for at least one.
Yeah, Martin Heinrich went on to say, of course, before I talk about him, HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra, said the Biden administration is committed to help those in need and the communities hardest hit by the coronavirus with a critical investment. And they also talked about every person should have affordable care, health care, and so on and so forth. And then they go on to say that 63% of people that live below the poverty level are actually ethnic minorities. And Martin Heinrich went on to say that in a separate story about kids and minorities and so on, that they're trying to get $3,600 per child under the age of 6 that families would receive, and a tax break, so tax credit. So keep up the good work, and sooner or later we will be socialized. Don't worry about it. We will, and not a problem.
Socialized and broke.
And broke, and we're close to there right now. We're $30 trillion in debt on a federal level, and Joe Biden is pitching a $3 trillion recovery package, another one. And there are some that are talking about a 4th round of stimulus money. Get ready for that. New Mexico, I'm just happy that we rank in the top now. We are the only thing I can think of that we rank in the top would be peanut production. Peanut production. And we do have the number 1 oil and gas county in America, and that would be Lee County. So those two things are shining, pecan production and oil and gas. And when it comes to education and so on and so on, 55% of people in New Mexico are actually on Medicaid, which is free health care. 55%. But we now rank number 3. And pedestrians being in danger. Albuquerque actually ranks number 12. And so we're number 3. They took a look at all the states. And when it comes to being in danger, pedestrians being in danger, we are number 3. So congratulations going out to New Mexico. Oil and gas, pecans, and pedestrian being
pedestrian danger. That's great.
So we're right.
Hey, don't forget
there.
green chili.
Green chili, we are number 1 in green chili. We're also number 1 in the governor having the largest slush fund to spend money on. So we've got that covered too. So congratulations.
I think we may have like a record with when the Democrat governor came into office. She had this huge surplus, and the record time that she blew through that surplus and gave us a deficit.
And the cool thing about the governor having that slush fund that she spent on Wagyu steaks and her dog's pooping on the carpet, so they got to get that thing carpet cleaned every week instead of I don't know, teaching your dog to be potty trained. That's what I do. Instead of them slapping her on the wrist and said, "Hey, you spent the money on the wrong thing," they gave her more money to spend. So,
hey, here's some more, Governor. You're doing such a great job of spending our money so wisely. Let's give you more.
I left out a couple things: getting boots repaired, groceries, booze, you name it. She spent it, and you know what? We said, "Good job. We're giving you more money because we appreciate you." Thank you so much for spending the tax dollars in an appropriate way to feed your family and friends. Keep up the
Republicans didn't do that.
And during a pandemic when nobody was supposed to be gathering. Keep it up. Keep it up. This is why it is so important in New Mexico that we find a candidate that can beat Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Oh.
That is probably the most important thing. And I've been screaming it and yelling it and asking every Republican in a power position, hey, where are we at with the governor? Because we're 20 months away from the election. It's either 20 or 21 months away from the election. When it comes to fundraising, when it comes to organizing, we're not that far away from, and that's from the general election. So
sure.
The primary election is even closer. So we got to get our stuff together. We got to find a candidate. I don't care if it's J.C. Block or whoever it is, but I don't think we should do any retreads and recycle candidates that will lose again. I just don't think that is smart. We need new candidates with new energy. And my personal take on this, we need people that can win. And
someone who's going to appeal to the moderate Democrats. That's the only way we're going to win in New Mexico.
Is very, very important. And there are lots of people that are upset with the governor. So now is the time. Don't drop the ball. Don't drop the ball. So, hey, guys, please subscribe to the channel. We encourage you to subscribe to the channel. And while you're there, please subscribe to Be in the Breakfast Club. We're getting a lot of traction on our 3.5-hour show that we have every day, and we do a stream the show on Facebook and on YouTube. So please, while you're subscribing to Two Bald Guys on the Right, please subscribe to Be in the Breakfast Club up there on YouTube. Where else?
Do that if you would. Don't
us?
forget. Yeah, don't forget we're on all the podcast streaming platforms. You can go to Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, Amazon. We're streaming our podcast, just the audio version, on all of those as well. So we would appreciate if you would check us out on those. If you listen to audio podcasts, you can listen to this right here. And, of course, when you are on YouTube, hit that subscription button. That would help us out a ton. And we will talk to you again on Monday with the national version.
God bless. Praying for New Mexico.